What is up, guys? Brownwoods TCG back at it with another banger video. This time we're going to be piloting the red-green Luffy. And this is the deck list that we're going to be running. You guys take a look. I actually tweaked it the day of. I only had one secret Luffy at the time. And as soon as I walked into my locals, I was like, dude, I need secret Luffys. And I checked the desk and they had some. So I bought two secret Luffys, and this is a brand new deck list that I made on the spot to be able to, compete at these locals. So we're going to be going first here. I won the dice roll and I went first. Or no, I believe my opponent won the dice roll and he chose second. So going first, I'm going to go ahead and use the Nefertari VV right here. If you guys don't know about the VV is super clutch because it's going to let you look at top 4 for a 2 cost or greater Straw Hat type. So the main reason why I run this VV is to be able to fish for Nami cards. Specifically, I run the 3 cost starter deck 21 Nami, and also moving forward in OP 14, we're going to have access to the brand new blocker Nami. The brand new blocker Nami is going to, be super good on play, rest 2 cards, and then restand 5 Dawn at the end of your turn. So this is kind of like, a card that is going to be really good in the future, but it's still really good now. Okay, so my opponent just plays the Izo and then passes to us. So I'm going to go ahead and play the starter deck Nami that I just told you guys about. Activate main, give 2 rested Dawn to leader, and then I'm going to swing 7k. My opponent takes, draws an extra card because of his leader ability, and I pass turn. So we're looking pretty good. If we're going first, this is an optimal play right here. 1 Dawn play, you play a Searcher. 3 Dawn play, you play the starter deck Nami. I believe I'm running 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken, just because I really wanted to use them this tournament and really feel the power. Typically when you run 3, you don't really always see them on curve, but I did see it on curve right here. This is my optimal play. And I even drew the Sanji off of the first play, VV. So, of course, Sanji's going to come out next turn. So we're looking really good. So my opponent right here just plays the Garp, and he grabs this, I believe it was the Yamato from his deck, and then draws it to his hand. No, it's the Uta. The Uta that costs 2 cost, I believe. I think it's like this card is minus whatever, 5-6 Dawn if you have some other condition, but yeah, it's pretty much a 2 cost blocker. So my opponent attaches 3 Dawn to leader and swings 9, and I just take that. I have no Dawn up, I can't use leader ability, and I'm not going to pitch 3 cards out of hand. Gladly take that. So, just like I said, 5 Dawn play. I'm going to tap 5 for Sanji. Sanji's going to restand 2 Dawn. Nami's going to activate ability, give 2 rested Dawn to my leader. And we're going to see what we got here. I'm going to attach 1 more Dawn and swing 8 to lead. I'm swinging 8 because this forces my opponent to give me 2 cards out of hand. He's a 6k leader. So he has to either use leader ability and a 1k, or he has to give me a 1k, 2k. So right here, we're looking pretty good. My opponent is going to go ahead and activate that leader ability, and he's going to bring me back down to 6, minus 2k for the battle, and give me an extra 1k Garp. All right, so we're looking pretty good, right? We have some board. I tap 1 more for another VV, look at top 4. And let's see what I fish for here. Any Straw Hat type card costs 2 or greater. This is including events, so I can grab the the Gum Gum Giant Pistol with the Nami. I cannot search for the Dead Man's Game, because that's going to be a 1 cost. 1 cost events, unfortunately, we can't grab them. We're looking pretty good here. We have on board a Sanji already, and we have a 3 cost Nami. This is a optimal start. Like I said, next turn we're going to be at 7. We have a couple plays that we can do. We have the secret Luffy that we can play. We have the 6 drop blocker law that we can play. So I grab the Zoro off of the search, and I end turn. Sanji restands 1. You guys can't forget. You can end the turn with 0 Dawn active, and then Sanji is going to restand 1 Dawn at the end of the turn. So always enable you to at least have 1 Dawn for leader ability. All right. I just noticed too, like this is literally a brother versus brother battle. Luffy versus Ace, and 2 very strong decks. So this is definitely a fun match to play. So my opponent's going to swing 6 to my leader. I'm going to use leader ability to bump up to 7k for the battle. My opponent plays a Jozu. He's going to bounce his own Garb and bounce my Sanji back to hand. This is tough because Sanji is, obviously we want Sanji on the board as much as possible. Every turn, if Sanji can give us that Dawn active, it's going to be great. Obviously, it's a 7k too, so that's a very, very strong attacker. Jozu is unfortunately going to be able to bounce that to hand, but we have ways to bring Sanji back out. So I'm going to tap 6 for blocker law. Going to bounce the VV to hand and play the Sanji back out rested. I'm going to restand 2 of my Dawn. I'm going to activate Nami ability here. I'm going to grab 2 of rested Dawn, give it to Luffy, bump him up to 7k. And I'm going to add 1 more Dawn, and again I'm going to swing 8 to lead, forcing my opponent to give me 2 cards out of hand. He's going to activate Izo, draw 1, and then bottom a card. Again, so, if you guys are wondering what the sweet spot is for Ace, this is it right here. You guys just have to swing 8Ks. Especially when he has no Dawn attached to leader. Like if you see right here, he just played the Jozu last turn, and he has no Dawn on leader, so he can't draw an extra card if he takes his hit. You always have to be mindful of that. So my opponent right there activates ability and then gives me a 1k. Again, ripping 2 cards out of hand. That's 2 turns that I've taken 2 cards out of my opponent's hand. It can't get any better than that. So again, we noticed that Ace had no card on his leader, right? So you have to notice these things. You have to say, okay, cool, no leader effect, so he can't draw an extra card even if he does take a life hit. So you kind of want to put a little bit more pressure offensively on the turns where you can take advantage of that. I end turn, Sanji restands a Dawn, and I have 3 active Dawn. So each Dawn is plus 2k per battle, so that's a total of a 6k free counter that I have. My opponent is going to tap 5 for the Yamato. I believe it's if your leader is multicolored, you draw 2 cards. Disgusting. All right, he's going to give 1 Dawn to leader. So now he has a Dawn on leader. Dawn times 1. If you take damage, you can draw a card. Pretty much that's the gist of it. All right, so we're looking pretty good here, guys. We played the Sanji. He did play the Jozu, but we were able to just replay the Sanji and the Law. That is the beauty of this Trafalgar Law. The whole purpose of running these laws is to be able to spam your Sanjis. To be honest, it is kind of like a tech card. I don't think you play this law in OP14, but it's pretty good. It's doing really good for me right now. I tap 6, bounce one of my searchers to hand, and then I can play Sanji. Sanji's the only 5 cost that I run in this deck. So to get the maximum value of this law, it's going to be playing Law into Sanji. So my opponent is going to, attach some Dawn to leader, and he's going to swing a big 9 to Sanji. I'm going to use leader ability to bump Sanji up to 11. So I'm going to give 2 Dawn. He's going to swing, Joe's going to swing 7 to my Luffy, and I'm going to use leader ability, go up to 7k, and then give a 1k counter, the VV that I just bounced to life. And my opponent is going to pass. So he opts just to swing big here. I guess my opponent was kind of forced to have to play that Yamato to draw 2 because of all the cards that I was making him discard. He had already discarded 4, so he sacrificed, drawing cards as opposed to, being able to play another, big body out. That's actually going to do some work. So I swing 6 with my Law. Yes, he's a blocker, but you guys have to realize he's not a blocker until I'm at 1 or less life. So he's swinging, he's an attacker up until that end game for me. So I swing 6, my opponent gives me a leader ability. I swing 7, he gives me a 2k. And I tap 9 for Zoro. I bring the big Zoro out. I use Nami effect to give 2 rested Dawn to leader. That's going to activate my ability now. Or let me use my ability. I swing 7 to lead. He takes and draws a card because he has a Dawn on leader. And I pass. Sanji's going to restand 1 Dawn. Perfect execution on a 9 Dawn play. Typically, if you play Zoro on 9 Dawn, you have no Dawn left over to be able to use leader ability or to be able to, have any active Dawn to be able to use on defense. But luckily, because we have this Star Deck 21 Nami, even on our 9 Dawn play, we're able to put Dawn on our leader to activate leader ability, and then Sanji gives us the active Dawn at the end of our turn to be able to use 2K counter for free. So now this Zoro is just a ticking time bomb. So my opponent is going to go ahead and swing 6 to my Trafficker Law, and this is not a Straw Hat type character, so I'm not going to be able to use leader ability to protect him. Very, very important. Leader ability only works on Straw Hat type characters or leader. So I just give up this Trafficker Law. It's already done its job. You know, it brought out the Sanji and it took 1 swing to leader. So as far as I'm concerned, it did its job. You can go. Not worth a card in hand. The card in hand is going to be protecting this Sanji, because Sanji is giving me a recurring effect every turn. You know what I mean? So now my opponent is going to swing 6 to my life. I'm going to give a 2K counter. My opponent swings 7K to life. I'm going to use leader ability, go up to 7K, and then give a 1K. And then he taps 4 for a Marco blocker on KO, draw 2 cards. And then he's going to tap 6 for a Red Rock. Red Rock going to be sending Zoro to the bottom of my deck. Very unfortunate. It sucks. You know, I literally was, planning on ending next turn because I had some weapons in my hand to be able to buff that Zoro up crazy to have a spectacular finish. But, you have to know that there are answers for Zoro. There are ways to get rid of him, and you guys just seen one. He is now residing at the bottom of my deck. So, new game plan. You have to scramble. That wasn't my plan. I honestly didn't even consider it getting red rocked, but you have to remember these things. You have to remember what cards people play. So now I'm kind of trying to see how I can manage. I do have other weapons that I could play. Luckily, this deck, I have a lot of searchers. I have a lot of ways to be able to find cards that I don't have. So if you pay attention again to this leader, this ace leader, he has no Dawn attached on his leader. So, that's really, really good for us. He was forced to be able to, play this blocker and removal spell to get rid of my Zoro. And the cost of that is he had no Dawn left over for his leader ability. So you have to pay attention to these things. He's going to be drawing no cards this turn if he takes that last life hit. So right here, I'm just looking at my cards because as you can see, I have a mole pistol in my hand. And I'm honestly calculating if I can go for game this turn. Because I think I have a dead man's game and a mole pistol in my hand. So I'm just doing the math. I'm like, okay, 4 for DMG. That leaves me 6 left over. You know what I mean? Can I finish him with, does he have 6 cards in hand? Plus drawing 1 from life, 7. It was a little risky. It was seeming a little risky, a little dicey. But you guys always got to do the math on these, luckily there are no timed turns. It's just, overall time for the match. So you kind of got to take your time when you got to take your time, You got a lot of combos, especially a deck like this where you have a lot of answers that you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and tap 4, indeed, for the dead man's game. I'm going to wrench the Marco. All right, that's going to leave me with a total of 6 Dawn left. I'm going to attach 1 Dawn to Sanji and swing 8. Again, I'm swinging 8 whenever I want to rip cards out of my opponent's hand. He's going to use leader ability to trash the 10 beard and give a 1K Jozu to take 2 cards out of his hand. All right. Let's see. I'm going to use Nami ability to give 2 rested Dawn to Luffy. So he's going to have 7K. And I'm going to swing 8K again to leader. Swinging a big 8. He's going to have to give me 2 cards. He does not have 2 cards, so he takes that life. And I pass. Sanji, gets 1 Dawn, sets it as active. And I end the turn with 5 active Dawn. The most Dawn that I've ended my turn with so far this game. Just because I'm ensuring that I survive this turn to be able to play that unblockable Sanji next turn. The whole purpose to, swing those 2 8s was to reduce my opponent down to 0. Because even though he played you know, even though he has that Marco blocker, I don't have to KO it. He has a Marco blocker. He can play the 10 drop blocker Whitebeard and buff his leader up. I'm still going to be able to punch through those blockers with the unblockable Sanji 2K that I have in this deck. So pretty much we're just going to be, you know, waiting for my opponent right here. You know, I have 5 active Dawn. My whole job, my whole purpose is to keep this Sanji alive. If I keep this Sanji alive, I can buff him with all the Dawn on my field and then make him unblockable and swing an unblockable, what would that be? 8 Dawn plus 7, 15 unblockable to my opponent. So all I have to do is, you know, protect this guy with all my Dawn, all the cards in my hand. That's my thought process right now. So my opponent's gonna swing 7K to my leader. I'm gonna use leader effect, go up to 7. Oh no, he was swinging to Sanji. He swings 7 to Sanji. I use leader effect, and I bump Sanji up to 9K. So my opponent is definitely trying to remove this Sanji because he kind of knows that if he has no life up, so 6, 7, 8, 9. My opponent swings 9K. Swinging, oh no, I'm sorry. Jozu swung 7 to life. I gave 2 Dawn to go up to 9K. Now my opponent is swinging another 9K to life. So I'm just trying to see what I want to do here. I rest 1 Dawn, 2 Dawn, and 3 Dawn to go up to 11K for the battle. I block his second attack. He still has 1 swing and 7 Dawn active. So he's going to give 1 Dawn to his Yamato and swing 7K to life. I'm going to go ahead and take it because, you know, I don't think I have enough counter to be able to block anything. And he's going to red rock the Sanji this time. Okay, so that was his game plan. Red rock the Sanji to leave me no attackers. I only have the Vivi and the Nami. Unfortunately, this unblockable Sanji only works for characters. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do the math here. I'm gonna use Gum Gum Giant Pistol to buff Nami up by 6,000. So Nami is gonna be at 7K with this Mo Pistol, and then it cannot be restood next turn. So 7K, I'm going to use Nami ability to give 2 rested Dawn to herself to go up to 9K. I'm going to go ahead and tap 2 Dawn for unblockable Sanji. If you have a character 6K or higher, it gains unblockable. So 9K unblockable, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14K to life, and that is going to be enough for game. My opponent had no counter. He only had a 2K in hand, so it wouldn't have mattered. So there you have it. Unblockable Sanji coming in for the win. You guys got to remember though, if you play this card, you could only use him if you have a character with 6,000 power or more. So you have to buff up your character if it's you know, one of the searchers. You can't do it in opposite fashion, or else you pretty much just like you misplay. So first buff up your baby until it's higher than 6K, and then use the unblockable Sanji. So there you have it. There was a pretty crazy finish right here. You know, my opponent got rid of Sanji, but because he was at 0 life, it didn't matter. I still had a Straw Hat character on the field that I could buff with Mole Pistol and unblockable Sanji. So it was pretty close, not gonna lie, because you know I only had a Vivi, and Vivi is not Straw Hat. It's Alabasta archetype. And then, you know, obviously leader, I can't use either of those buffs on leader. So I don't know how I would have played it. Maybe I would have like played, you know, it looks like I had a Sanji in hand there. I don't know how I would have played it. But this is how it ended up working out. Crazy game, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. You know, we saw our answers. We saw our early game. You know, we went for first. So we hit Searcher on 1 Dawn, start at 21 Nami on 3 Dawn, Sanji on 5 Dawn. And then, what was it? Trafficker Law into Sanji. And then, yeah, like, you know, we were just seeing everything that we had. Our ratios were feeling good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this match. This was over at Project CCG in Santa Ana. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys learned something. This leader is only going to be getting stronger in OP14. So I'm pretty excited for when that happens. There's a lot of new cards that we're going to be putting in there, a lot of new sauce that we got. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your leaders are, or what you're going to be playing in OP14. If you guys have any questions about this game, or you know, any RG Luffy specific questions, also let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not so already. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.